talk to me, communicate with me, tell me all about you. Haha. Communication's a really interesting topic, isn't it? How do you become a superb communicator? And how do you make sure that when you have a conversation with somebody, when you interact with another human being, that you're not making a fool of yourself, you're not making a dick of yourself, that you're not being selfish, that you're just being a great human being. Now, you might not care, you might just want to talk. But one of the things I had to learn the hard way is it's not about me. I remember as a teenager thinking that everybody was really interested in me and I talked about me. And then I learned a very important lesson that people don't care about me. They might care about what I can do for them, but they certainly don't care about me. So here's a great thing to consider. In every interaction, in every conversation, how much are you talking about yourself versus how much are you genuinely interested in somebody else? So I used to think I had to be interesting. Everybody wants me to be interesting, so I'm going to tell all these great stories and be this great, interesting person, versus be interested in somebody else. So the first place to start with great communication, of course, is and I do this every time I have a conversation, is I analyze how many times I said the word I, and how many times I talked about me, and how many statements I made versus questions that I asked, and was I genuinely interested in the other person. So I'm just going to say that again. How many times did I use the word I? How often did I talk about me? And how many questions did I ask about the other person versus statements that I made about myself? And it became a very conscious process. Subconsciously, we just talk, and it's really nice, I get it, to have great conversations with people who you can just relax and enjoy the conversation. And if you have people in your life like that, isn't it awesome that you've got somebody who is genuinely interested in you? And that's probably the next really important question. When was the last time you had a conversation with somebody, an interaction, where it was a 50-50? So they were genuinely interested in you, you were genuinely interested in them. They listened to everything that you had to say, you listened to everything that they had to say. You didn't interrupt each other, you didn't pass judgment, you didn't make comments, you didn't tell them what to do. And that's a really interesting thing that we've got in the world right now. And if you want to see poor communication at its finest, open up social media. Have you ever, and just for fun, do this. Open up a video clip and count how many times the person says I or me, and count how many times the person talks about themselves versus asks you questions or is, love me. Now I'm going to say, I'm just going to quickly share why I say love me. Have you ever wondered why we say bless you when somebody sneezes? I followed that up one time and found out that it was to do with the Black Plague. And when people were dying, they would sneeze and people would say, bless you, because they were dying. Well, I don't want to have that negativity in my life. How about you? So every time at our house somebody sneezes, we always say, love you, which is great when you've got two people who love each other who live in the same house. Very funny when you say love you to somebody in a lift or at the supermarket or at the petrol station. It's also a great way to start communication. And if you want to start great communication with people, here's the ultimate golden question. It's not my question, I was just taught to ask. Tell me about you. Open up your body language, lean forward, maintain eye contact, and really be genuinely interested in the person. Tell me about you. Now, sometimes people share with me, people don't want to talk about themselves. They might say, I'm not very interesting, or I don't want to talk about myself. So then ask a really specific question. So instead of just tell me about you, it might be, and this is one I use all the time, what are you excited about? What are you passionate about? What's important to you? What do you love? And it's really beautiful to watch people's guard come down. They lean forward and start talking. Now, the reason that's so important is if I'm talking, isn't it possible that all I'm learning about is myself? If you're talking, who are you learning about? You already know all about yourself. How can we possibly learn more if all we talk about is ourselves? And social media is a classic for that. This is what I eat. This is what I have for breakfast. This is the exercise that I do. This is the handbag that I wear, this is the clothes that I put on, this is what I do in my life, I. And there's a great statement for that, which is, are you an optometrist? Constantly talking about eyes, I, me. If you want to be a great communicator, and you might not, it's not important to you, but if you really do want to connect with people, if you want to build rapport quickly, if you want to be good at sales, if you want to have a successful business, is it possible that it's not about you? One of the biggest mistakes in business, it seems, is that businesses talk about themselves. This is what we do, and this is how long we've been in business for, and this is what we sell, and this is how we do it. Versus, what can our product or service do for you? Could that be the ultimate question? What do you need, and what can our product or service do for you, or what do you want it to do for you? But isn't that the same in a relationship? Rather than I, me. If you're dating and you go out on a date with somebody and all they do is say I, me. This is what I like. This is what I do. This is where I go. This is what I wear. This is what I believe. This is my opinion. How long do you want to stay there for? Ideally, a great conversation is two people connecting 50-50. But if you want to build rapport with somebody, if you want somebody to trust you, is it possible that you need to find out about them rather than you tell them about you? So I had to learn the hard way. I was the loudest person in the room. I was the most confident person in the room. I've been taught since a little girl to be able to speak in public and to be able to talk confidently. But ultimately, I had to learn the hard way that it's not about me, it's about the person that I'm interacting with, and I need to be genuinely interested in them, not interesting. So if you want to have great relationships, if you want to have a successful business, if you want to interact beautifully with people, could it be a great idea just to do that quick analysation? How often do I say I? How many questions do I ask? And am I genuinely interested in the other person? Or, and this is a classic for what we're going through in the world right now, everybody's got an opinion, and it seems loudly people are sharing their opinion. But if I've got two people screaming their opinion at each other, first of all, there's this great quote, a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. So even if I'm right and I scream at the person and I give them my opinion and I'm obviously right, is it possible that they won't change their mind anyway? They'll probably become more aggressive and stand by their opinion even more. What an interesting situation. Do you want to learn more? If yes, could it be great to ask more questions? If you want to build rapport quickly, could it be important to ask more questions about the other person rather than talking about yourself? And there's another great question. If you're the loudest person in the room, is it possible that nobody's listening? Everybody's got an opinion, everybody's got the right to have an opinion, but is it possible that the quiet people, and I'll just use this as a really interesting example. I'm married to a very accomplished person. K-Man has a big, long list of reasons that he could brag, that he could make noise, that he could be the loudest person in the room. He's done a lot of things, he's achieved a lot of things. He's a current world champion. He's got a master's degree in exercise science. He's a really intelligent, smart, funny, accomplished, successful person. But he's also the most humble person I've ever met, and he's always the most quiet person in the room. One of the things I always find really surprising, because people who have access to him personally very rarely ask him any questions. They just talk about themselves. And of course, if you're talking about yourself, how can you learn anything? And when you're in the presence of somebody who really could help you achieve things, whether it's a sporting goal, a business goal, a communication goal, a financial goal, you will come in contact with those people. But is it possible that if you're doing the talking, they will have no interest in helping you, because they'll think, well, that's how I used to live my life. I was so arrogant, I thought I knew everything, so nobody wanted to teach me anything. It wasn't until I shut the hell up and asked questions that people were actually genuinely interested in talking to me and genuinely interested in teaching me. And I want to be open to learning, and I want to keep learning. How about you? So if you want to build great relationships and you want to have I'll call it live life to the max. If you want to live your life to the max, could it be great to listen to other people and learn every single day rather than just live in our own little world of opinion? We've got the right to our opinion, but how can we even get a better, more informed opinion if we just listen to ourselves rather than asking questions and listening to other people? May you live your life to the max, and look at this beautiful day. It is a maximally beautiful day. I feel good. No. I knew that I would now. No. So good. Woohoo!